So today on this video, we're just going to look at a little slope-intercept form practice. Slope-intercept form, we did that in grade 9 math, and hopefully you've done the PHET linear function simulation, a little review there, and hopefully you've already watched the other video and stuff like that. So this is a little practice with it. Now, slope-intercept form is one of the best forms for lines and drawing lines and that type of stuff. Of course, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and of course this b value right here, that's the y-intercept, and of course the m value right there is the slope. And then of course you get your y value and your x value, but it's one of the best types of forms to have for graphing lines, so it works out pretty nicely. So if we just go with the first one here, y equals 7 over 2x minus 3, it's in perfect slope-intercept form. So just got to piece things together here. I typically start with the y-intercept because I find that the easiest. So I've got the y-intercept of -3. So I'm just going to go to -3 on my y thing right there. So I know the line goes to there. And then I've got the slope is 7 over 2. So a lot of people will think of just being a rise over run type thing and piecing it together that way. So you get a rise over run, 7 over 2. So just go with whatever point you have. Rise 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Run 2, 1, 2. So that would be a slope of 7 over 2. And then once you have that, you got your 2 points. You can then draw your line, something like that. And there we go. And there we go. So that's graphed using slope-intercept form. Probably one of the easier ones to work with in terms of forms of lines. Okay, so go to the next one, same type of thing. Y-intercept is -1, so there's my -1 right there. I've got a slope of -3. So there's different ways people do it. Sometimes people, when it's a whole number like this, they'll just draw the invisible 1 underneath there, just a little bit easier for some people. It doesn't really matter. So you got a rise of -3, so since it's negative, I'm actually going to go down. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1 for run, something like this. And then I can draw my line through them, something like that. Okay, so there we go. There's that one. Okay, all right, so let's try another one. Y equals -9 over 5x minus 5. Okay, so I'll draw my y-intercept, -5. So it's down there. Okay, so I've got a rise over run, -9 over 5. Okay, well, for this one, I'm going to try and do this one a little bit differently. I've got a rise of -9. Well, I can't go down -9 because I don't have enough room. But this negative here, you can attach it to the top or the bottom. It doesn't make any difference. You can do the -9 or the -5. It won't make any difference. So instead of attaching the negative to the 9, I'm going to attach it to the -5. So I'm going to treat this as 9 over -5. So I can rise 9 no problem. That would be up here, and then at the +4, and then I'm going to go to the left 5, so that would be there. So what I did is, instead of going down 9 and to the right 5, I went up 9 and to the left 5. And if I do that, I'll join the two together, something like this. And there we go, it's not too bad. You got this. So sometimes when you don't have enough room to go the way you want, go the other way. Put the negative with the other number, and just go the other way. Okay, number 4, we've got y is equal to x. This one looks a little different, but it's not actually that bad. This is actually y equals x, and technically there's a +0 here, which means it actually goes through the origin. And this one's pretty easy because y equals x, so the two values are always equal to each other. So if y equals 1, x equals 1. If y is -3, x is -3. It's actually pretty simple. The other way you can look at it is right here. There's actually an invisible 1 right there, so the slope is actually 1. So you can pick any point you want, make them two equal. It doesn't make any difference. You can pick right there if you want. Y is equal to x, 4 is equal to 4. The slope would be 1. Doesn't matter. You'll get something like that. So again, oops, wrong thing. Let's get my line tool. There we go. And we can have something that looks like that. Okay. Next ones. All right, so scroll down. All right, so I got y equals 2 over 5x plus 4. All right, same type of thing. So my y-intercept is 4. So I'm going to go, there's my 4 right there. And then I got a slope of 2 over 5, and that should fit. So I'm going to go rise of 2. So that's up here. Run of 5, which would be over here. So went up 2 across 5. Did that way. Now, of course, you could also go the other way. If this had been too high, instead of going up and to the right, you could also have gone down and to the left and ended up here. It doesn't make any difference. If you go, positive 2 up, 5 to the left, you could also go negative 2 down and negative 5, because then those two negatives cancel, and you'd still end up with the same slope. The slope of 2 over 5 is the exact same thing as negative 2 over negative 5. So sometimes if you're running out of room at the top of a graph and you can't go up and to the right, try and go down and to the left. As long as you make them both negative, it should work just fine. Okay? Either way, it doesn't make any difference. You draw the line, and you can see it doesn't matter if you'd go up and to the right or down to the left. The line is still going to hit both of them. Okay? All right, so next one, we've got a y-intercept of 4. So I'm going to mark that. And then I've got negative 8, and I've got over 3. So I can put the negative with the 8 because I can go down 8. So I'm going to go down 8, and that would be there. And then I've got a run of 3. So I did a negative 8, run of 3. We'll go right on there. And draw my line. Something like that. And yes, technically you should have arrowheads at both ends because the line does go on forever. Okay, so there's those two. All right, so let's try these two. Okay, we've got y-intercept of 4. So y-intercept of 4. The slope is 3. This is one of the ones where I can't go up 3 and across 1. I can't. This won't fit on my graph. So instead, I am going to use a slope of negative 3 over negative 1. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and go left 1 right there, because that's the same thing. So 3 over 1, a slope of 3 is the exact same thing as negative 3 over negative 1. But the 3 over 1, I couldn't fit that on my graph using positive, so you just go the opposite way. Just make sure you go the opposite way for both numbers. Okay, next one, I got a slope or intercept of negative 3, so I got my slope of intercept of negative 3. I've got a rise over run, negative 2 over 1, so I can go down 2, so let's see, negative 2 over 1, some people like that. So I can go down 2 plus 1, that would be over there, and something like that. Okay. And last two here, x equals 2. So this one is not in y-intercept form. So if we want to be fancy-schmancy, there is no, it doesn't really work that way. All we have is x equals 2. So if you remember, if you got x equals 2, then, well, let's see, your x value is 2 right there, and x value is always 2. So just x equals 2. And you will often see something like this. Okay, there's x equals 2. No matter what, x is equal to 2. There's not much else you could do with something like that. Some people will just draw a dot. Some people draw like the vertical line right there. But that's just x equals 2. And then we've got the y equals 0 as our last one. Same idea. No matter what, y is equal to 0. So that is just flat right across, something like this. Y is always equal to 0. It never goes up, it never goes down. Y is just always equal to 0. So you could have something like that. Some people would draw the dot at y equals 0, but it's just a horizontal line, and that's it. Okay, so there's some practice doing slope-intercept form, and in the next sheets you'll be able to practice a little bit on your own and piece things together. And again, this is grade 9 review. You guys worked on slope-intercept form grade 9, so it should be pretty good, and just mostly hopefully a review for you guys.